How do I decrypt files encrypted by ransomware? Hi, everyone. Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. Here's the question. Some of my files are gone, saying that they have been encrypted with a public key. Files like my photos and so on. Of course, they have a high fee in order for me to get them back. Do you have a solution? So this is a question I got some time ago from a friend. While there are a few straws to grasp at, the news is not really very good. The whole point of ransomware is that there's no easy, simple way to undo the damage. If there were, ransomware wouldn't be a thing. Now look at the few options you've got and how prevention before ransomware happens can actually give you peace of mind. Ransomware is a specific type of malware, and remember, it's just malware, that encrypts your files so that you're unable to access or use them, and then offers to decrypt them if you pay the ransom. Unfortunately, the technology used, public key encryption, is good. It's the same encryption technology you and I use to keep our data secure and our internet conversations private. When done correctly, a file encrypted using public key cryptography is essentially unrecoverable unless you have the matching private key. And needless to say, hackers are doing it right. It's essentially impossible to decrypt files encrypted by ransomware without their private key. As the threat and impact of ransomware has grown, security pros and authorities have been working to track down the hackers and take down their operations. On occasion, they succeed, and that specific ransomware threat is stopped. When this happens, the private keys the hackers had are sometimes, though not always, discovered and then made available to the public. The No More Ransom project maintains a database of known ransomware. Quoting from their site, it is sometimes possible to help infected users to regain access to their encrypted files or locked systems without having to pay. We have created a repository of keys and applications that can decrypt data locked by different types of ransomware. Now, I've emphasized the word sometimes on purpose. There are no guarantees. And in fact, in my experience, the word sometimes should really be on rare occasions. If your files are encrypted by ransomware, that's a straw worth grasping at. In fact, if you haven't prepared ahead of time, it's really your only option. The best possible cure for ransomware is to avoid having your files encrypted in the first place. Remember, ransomware is just malware, and that means using the internet safely and all that entails. Avoid malware, phishing schemes, and all the other ways hackers get ransomware and other malware onto your machine. The second best cure is to have a backup. If you find your computer affected with ransomware and your files encrypted, restoring them from a backup is really the only 100% reliable recovery method. And since ransomware can, in some, fortunately infrequent cases, even encrypt your backups, you need to plan a robust solution that allows you to recover. Normally, this means automated daily backups and periodically storing copies offline out of ransomware's reach. Some backup tools have now added additional protection that prevents malware from encrypting your backups, so check to see if such an option is available. By far, the simplest, fastest, and most reliable solution to recovering files encrypted by ransomware is to restore them from a backup taken before the ransomware took hold. You restore the backup image of your entire machine to the state it was prior to the infection, and it's as if the ransomware never happened. Hopefully, once restored, you'll know not to do whatever it was that caused the infection in the first place. Now, if you don't have a complete image backup of your machine, but you do have a backup of your data, recovery is still possible, albeit somewhat more work. I recommend that you first take an image backup of the infected machine. This is to preserve a copy of the machine in its current state in case it becomes necessary to recover something else from it in the future. Wipe the machine and install Windows from scratch. Then reinstall all of your applications from scratch, and then restore your data from the unencrypted backup. If you have no backup of your data, things are significantly more dire. Interestingly enough, in recent years, online storage providers like OneDrive, Dropbox, and several others will, notice if a large number of files in your account suddenly change. That's one sign of a potential ransomware at work. When they notice this, they may offer to restore your files to the state before the massive change. If that massive change was indeed ransomware, this could allow you to recover your files. If that happens, remember, clear your machine of the ransomware first so that the files aren't immediately re-encrypted. Do so quickly, since the cloud services will only keep your older files for so long before permanently deleting them. There is no magical solution for decrypting strongly encrypted files. If you don't file the decryption key in a service like No More Ransom, then you're severely out of luck, which leaves the ultimate question. Should you pay? First, let's be clear. These are criminals you're dealing with. There's no guarantee that they're going to follow through should you elect to make payment. You could be throwing your money away, or you could recover your files. Only you can decide whether or not to pay the criminal's ransom. My position is don't. Doing so only encourages their criminal enterprise and puts even more people at risk of finding their files encrypted by ransomware. Instead, learn from the experience. Most importantly, start backing up so this never happens to you again. For updates, for comments, for links related to this topic and more, visit askleo.com/20068. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.